when it comes to video game reviews, I don't put much stock in just about anyone because for some reason critics of video games seem to operate in the 1 to 5 area and then the 8 to 10 area. And they don't seem to use their scale appropriately or in any way that seems to make any kind of sense to me. It seems like a lot of games just get full score. Like, this game was fun, 10 out of 10, and that's it. And I don't think you can, in order to be a respected critical journalist, you should not use a scale that way. And the one publication that I've found, and maybe this isn't the only one, feel free to add any publications you know of, websites that actually judge games fairly. The one that has been pretty consistent over all the years, literally years I've been watching this website, a decade at least, is Gamespot. Gamespot.com does a really good job of reviewing games fairly. They have given something like, I'm not sure of the exact count, but it's less than 10. They have given less than 10 games in their history a perfect score. Those games include Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I think they gave, well, now I'm not sure. Well, while I look this up, it's very hard to get a perfect score from them. Here we go, perfect 10. They also gave, I think, Half-Life, one of the Half-Lives, maybe? Perfect. 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 There are 8 games. 8 games that have gotten a perfect score, but there's no list here for some reason. Well, whatever. Oh, they have worst game of the year. Okay, well, anyway, they're pretty fair. And so, for instance, right now, in their most popular category, they've got The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which everything that I've seen of this game, it's absolutely amazing. And if I had the time or the computer to run it, I would play it. Yes, I have a 360, but that game looks amazing on PC, and I would want to play it on PC. Now, that game, which I would say is probably, that's a game that they spent millions of dollars making and years of development, and the amount of detail and everything that is in it got it a 9. According to GameSpot, that is worthy of a 9 out of 10. Not 9.5, not 10, 9. Now, the reason I'm bringing all this up, the reason I'm talking about this, is because it is November 29th. It has been 11 days since Minecraft has been, I will only do this once, released. That's the only time I'll do that, I promise. And they still haven't reviewed it. And I've been quiet. I haven't been complaining yet. Since the release of Minecraft, I've been reading the things that have been going on, the reviews. I will include in the info a link to the Metacritic database of reviews, which, as far as critical reviews of Minecraft go, it's pretty sparse. There are only 13 reviews or something. But I think what is a lot more telling is the user reviews. Now, of course, user reviews are hard. They're biased because you're not going to get mid-range reviews. You're going to get people who really like the game, or you're going to get people who really don't like the game, because you're only going to get the people who have something to say, and those aren't the people who are just okay with the game. Those are the people who really like it and or are fanboys, or the people who really hate it and or are trolls. And there are some reviews in there, bad reviews, that spell out a lot of the reasons that I think GameSpot has not and probably will not review the game. And I think overall it's because the game is not done. There's no way that that is a complete product. I don't know how you can hand that in and call it 1.0. There is so much broken, there is so much not working, there are so many bugs that have been persistent for version after version after version, and they're still not fixed. And I don't understand how a game that is making over $150,000 a day, I'll include a statistic if I can find it, but that is correct. I don't understand how the development cycle got so out of whack on this game, because there were so many things that I expected by the final version when I came along to this almost a year ago at this point, and I feel like we've gone almost nowhere. I feel like the game has started a lot of things that it couldn't quite finish, and the date for Minecon came up and they were like, well, I guess that's it. We're done. Let's go on vacation. And that's what happened. So, let's back up. Here are some of the things. First of all, let's split Minecraft into at least two different categories, because you got to think of this as two separate games. There is a single-player game, and there is a multiplayer game. If you are sticking with the single-player game, you're probably less troubled by a lot of the things that I'm bothered by, because it won't be a problem. If you're playing a vanilla version of Minecraft and you're not worried about mods, you're not worried about playing on a server, I would say your experience is going to be fairly good, and it's what you make of it. It's a sandbox game. It's up to you to choose what you want to do. And my biggest complaint about playing that single-player version, and it's kind of why I made Survive or Die, and I mentioned it, is because there's absolutely no guidance in the game of any kind. The only guidance that you have of any type, and it's not guidance, is the achievements. They kind of give you, if you don't know what you're doing, if you've never heard of the game, you're just plopped down in front of it, and you ask someone, how can I help myself? What can I do to get myself started? Part of the game, not a wiki or anything, part of the game includes the achievements. So you can look at the achievements and be like, oh, there's something related to getting a workbench. Well, how could I make a bench? And then critical thinking will get you through the next couple steps, hopefully. And I like that, but I think the game needs a tutorial or something. Maybe it needs a puzzle version. Like, maybe when you start a single player game, there should also be, like, instead of just a sandbox world, maybe there's an option to do, maybe there are 5 different tutorials, and when you load it up, it's the same world for every single person, and it just gives you a couple tasks to complete, and that's how you get your feet on the ground, and you know what you're doing. I'd be fine with that. Not fine with going to the wiki to figure everything out. I don't like that. So tutorial is out, but we have the achievements. Now, my problem with the achievements is, first of all, you use them as a tutorial, and second of all, I don't have a problem with achievements not being part of the gameplay. I'm fine with them being like a meta game. Like when you play Modern Warfare and all you're trying to do is get all the achievements, that doesn't necessarily affect the game, because the achievements might be something completely wacky that has absolutely nothing to do with playing the game. It's just a meta goal. It's a goal of the video game itself. I feel like I'm confusing myself. If Minecraft is going to have achievements, I feel like it should have, because the achievements are arbitrary and don't affect the game, it should have more arbitrary achievements. It should give you an achievement once you've walked 10,000 steps. It should give you an achievement once you've picked up 1,000 pieces of wood, 2,000 pieces of wood, 10,000 pieces of wood. Like, it should just have arbitrary achievements that are counting things. It's got that big statistics page. Why can't it just count things and give you achievement meaningless points? That's what WoW does. WoW has it has an achievement for level 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And the achievement means nothing. It doesn't do anything for you. But you get 10 points in your little achievement thing, and it makes you feel good. That's the whole point of achievements, just arbitrary points. I think Minecraft should have them for some reason. I really do. If it's going to have an achievement page, I feel like they should just go. Have an achievement page, fill it up with achievements. Okay, so then single player, doesn't have any goals. That's a problem. Tutorial could take care of that. Achievements should be bigger and better if they're going to be in there at all. Okay, so let's move on to the multiplayer component. And I'll still talk about some single player stuff, but customization is the major thing with multiplayer. There is a vanilla version of the Minecraft multiplayer server, and it's crap. And we know it's crap because when we've put up the Band of Builders in vanilla mode, it always ends up, I want to swear, it always ends up getting screwed up. The map gets corrupted, the whatever. Like, it never works for very long. And as soon as we apply Bucket, no problem. Why can't the vanilla version of the server act like it doesn't have to have like all the plugin enhancements and everything of Bucket? Why can't it just be a normal server that works all the time, that doesn't get corrupted, that doesn't have problems saving chunks, that doesn't just works? It just works. Because right now there's no just working version of the vanilla SMP server. I don't know why. Then we have all the bugs that shipped with the release version, including the invalid server key, which there are many people on the BOB server who probably still aren't playing on the server because they don't know how to fix it and they still haven't patched it. If you're curious, I will include a link in the info. SK89Q, the guy who made World Edit, was good enough to make a fix for this. It is as simple as a class file that you just drop into your jar and then it works. I have it on my 3, now 2 computers, and it works fine. My next problem, my next bug that's carried over that involves multiplayer and single player is lighting. There is some kind of weird major lighting bug that will not die. Just won't go away. And depending on which computer I'm playing on, I notice it more or less. Last night I played on the laptop, and it is the worst by far. I noticed problems with, I was underground and I had torches all around, but there was a chest right in front of me that was dark. And then conversely, I was in another cave later that was completely dark, and I could see a chest lit up on the other side of the cave. Just bonk, just lit up like, hello! And then beyond just the simple this block is lit or this one isn't, I've noticed on the laptop I get really weird where corners happen, like when I've dug in, I can see through. I can see through the edges to the horizon. So if the sun is coming up, if I'm facing the right direction, I can see the sun through the blocks. And that's probably more specific to the graphics driver that I've got running on that crappy laptop. But I know that the lighting errors as a whole still exist. Even on my best computer with my best AGP graphics card, they still happen all the time. I could just spawn a world right now, and I'm sure I could, within 2 minutes, find one. Because they're just persistent and they won't go away. And the reason that this is very strange to me is because there are games like Fortress Craft that have ripped off the Minecraft voxel-based block building idea, and they have no lighting problems of any kind. Maybe it's because the game is programmed in Java, that could be, which is both its blessing and its curse, because Java allows you to write, allows all these people who aren't that skilled at programming to write plugins and mods and whatever, and it's very easy to code. I know JavaScript. I know enough that I could do very simple things. I feel like if I took a little bit of time, I could probably write a mod myself, because it's just not that hard. So that's why Java is good for this. The reason it's bad for it is because people don't write games in Java. People don't write games in Java. And the cross-platform is where we see all the Java problems. Like on my laptop, I keep wanting to say it's over there because I was playing it over there earlier, but it's not over there. The laptop, the Java problem is very obvious. On this computer that I'm sitting in front of, or the one that's broken, it's not as obvious. But if this game were written in a different language, I'm sure the problem would be non-existent. Okay. Other multiplayer problems. I'm pretty sure, I haven't researched, but I'm pretty sure Notch said at some point that when the game was released, it would include a full-blown supported mod API that would allow you to turn on and off mods, load and unload, whatever. It's not there. It does not exist. I'm pretty sure, haven't researched it, that Notch said when the game was released, NPCs would have a function. They don't. They don't. Another thing that is bothering me that I've talked about on a couple of videos is I don't have a problem with them changing the sound effects, but some of the sound effects, especially the ones related to you getting hurt, don't make any sense. There's one "you're getting hurt" sound effect, and it sounds like bones breaking. And the one of you actually like calling out getting struck, like the is gone. I don't know why they couldn't keep that for the like mob damage sound effect, and then the bones breaking for the fall damage. That seems to make sense. Maybe that's a bug. I don't even know. Could be a bug. So sound effects are kind of hit and miss for me. I don't care that they updated the doors and whatever. I think that what the sound design is missing, and I like the music by whatever, C418. Is that right? I think that's right. I think the one thing that the sound design is missing is ambient sound. When you're out on a field, I really feel like you should hear crickets, or like you should hear ambient sound. I think it would just add to the entire atmosphere of the game. When you're in a cave, maybe you should hear like the air moving, like the pressure of, like when you, if you ever go into a cave, it's not quiet in there. It is in Minecraft. You should hear like the pressure differences, like the air whooshing by your head. Just like the spatial area should make a difference in the way that the sound plays. When you're in like a really tight formation, the sound should be deadened, and then when you're in a big room, there should be echoes and stuff. That would really add to the atmosphere of the game, and I cannot imagine that those things would be that hard to add. I'm not a programmer, not a game designer, but I've played enough games and seen enough cheap games that I know that certain things are just easily accomplished. I've been playing this game called... The reason I decided to do this is because I've been playing this game called Eve of the Genesis on my Android device, my Kindle Fire. That game was $3.99, and it is 10 times more polished than Minecraft. Is it a more impressive game? Absolutely not. Which is why I'm so like emotional and annoyed that Minecraft is not better. Because the potential that this stupid little sandbox idea has is so great, and I'm afraid for Mojang that someone is going to come along and do it way better than they are, and they're gonna be like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do with it. I'm afraid that's what's going to happen, because this Eye of the Genesis, very simple Final Fantasy 3-4 inspired style turn-based RPG, very simple, but the combat is very deep and complex. The skill-based system is eerily customizable with seemingly infinite possibilities for customization. And Minecraft just doesn't seem to have that. I realize that they added the enchantment stuff, which I actually still have not gotten into because I have trouble finding diamond all the time. But that enchantment stuff feels like it was added so late to the game that there's no way it's going to be as thought through as it should have been. Again, I haven't gotten there yet, so I could be completely wrong on this, and I'm sorry if I am. So, I think that the reason the Gamespot and me, the reason that we are struggling to assign this a grade or break it down is because, as I've said before, Minecraft basically, still at this point, feels more like a utility than a game. The way our server operates almost feels like a utility. We have one world. The main world is really the only place that an economy of any sort functions, and it didn't really function until we actually put an economy plugin in it. Why can't the game just function in vanilla mode with some kind of economy already? We had to add a plugin in order to accomplish that. And it just seems like the multiplayer is really what is driving this game. It seems to be what keeps people coming back and keeps communities interested. and it would it would behoove them to really throw their support behind the multiplayer and getting all of that stuff working. Not to say that other things that people were working on, custom maps, I don't even know what else people are working on. Not to say that that kind of support isn't important, because I really think it would be very easy to go about accomplishing a very simple custom parameter style game that custom map makers could use to produce a map that would act any way that they wanted it to, including like turning off specific mobs. Like you could create a map that Endermen don't spawn or whatever. Like I really feel like you should be able to choose that stuff, and in order to create custom maps, and right now you can't. But most of all, I feel like Mojang needs to support the multiplayer component. They've got over 5 million people playing. And if all those people are playing their own individual games, it's just gonna, fizzle. If all of those people get involved in servers that have histories and have projects and are going somewhere, they're gonna keep playing. And they're going to propagate the game for Mojang, and they're going to be its spokespeople. And right now, I'm one of their spokespeople because I play it on my YouTube page. I support the game by talking about it endlessly. I include a link directly to their website that used to say, it doesn't say it anymore, it used to say, you should buy it. My feeling now is that for $26.95, I have a real problem supporting this game because it's being billed as a full game, and I don't think it is. For $26.95, you could get a whole lot of more fun out of many other games combined. Between Steam or your Android device or your iOS device, there's so much better bang for your buck than Minecraft. That said, I think Minecraft is an opportunity, perhaps squandered, that has to go somewhere. I think within the next year, we are either going to see Minecraft completely blow up, like good, like go places that we didn't expect it to, or we're going to see it fizzle, go under, and be replaced by a clone. And I hate to say that, but I don't think they're handling their product well. And I hope that you don't hate me for saying that. Just my opinion, but it's not, I am not the only person who has this opinion. I would love to know what you think, genuinely. Please don't just be mad at me for saying that the game isn't perfect. Please understand that the game is not perfect, as much as you may like it. And as I've said in Survive or Die, and as I've been on the server and I've told a couple of people, I'm having a lot of fun playing the game. I'm having more fun playing the game now than I have since when I first got it. I think that it is the best it has been, but I think it could be so much better. If you have anything you want to contribute, please feel free to comment, send me an email if you really want to be verbose about it. I would like to continue talking about what needs to be done about Minecraft. I don't think that there's any problem with that. No one's trolling. I'm not trolling. I'm just concerned for a company that seems a little misguided or a little bit spread too thin. I don't know. Probably that. Someone said on a comment on a video that perhaps they are a victim of their own success. And I think that's probably the best possible explanation for what has happened. I feel like if they were a game like Terraria has had a fraction of the sales that Minecraft has. But when it was released, it was more or less finished. It didn't have persistent bugs, and if it did, they got patched very quickly. The depth of the game was... I still haven't played it, but I'm aware enough of it that it's clear that the depth of the game was planned from the beginning. The concept, all of the concept stuff, was thought about ahead of time and then worked into the game. Minecraft seems to have the opposite thought process, where they came up with the foundation, the tool, the utility of the world creation, and then they've slowly added things to that, which have complicated and in some cases completely glitched the process. Terraria had it all perfect before it came out, and now Carter sent me this video for their next update. They know how to do an update. This is like when Minecraft had that Halloween update that really changed a lot of stuff, and people were like, wow, this is like a whole new game now. That's what Terraria is doing. And if Minecraft had continued to do that every time, we probably wouldn't be having this talk right now, because we'd probably be playing a very different game. So hopefully Mojang can look at these other indie game development companies that have not had the kind of success that they had, take a step back and realize what they're doing right. Not that everything that Mojang does is wrong, but a little misguided, little spread too thin, one of those things. Please continue the discussion in the comments below. Sorry this went on really too long, but as you know, I know how to babble, and now I have to click.